entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay. Welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections for elevating your business. Welcome to Getting the Edge with Kelly Wilson. And here's your host, Kelly Wilson.
Welcome to Getting the Edge. I'm your host, Kelly Wilson. Thank you so much for being here today. I know there are a million other things going on in your life, and I'm very happy that you decided to take a few minutes to join us for The Edge today. Getting the Edge is a 1-hour inspiring, informative show, conversational, where it's an opportunity for us to talk to amazing community leaders and business owners, entrepreneurs in the community, and learn from them. We can all learn so much from each other's story, no matter if similar industries or the same or unlike. Anyway, definitely check it out. And I talk a lot. I ramble all throughout the show, if you haven't noticed already, if you've watched any. But I do know when to stop, and I've learned that we can learn so much from others. So again, happy to have you here. Thank you to our Getting the Edge, a Season 7 show sponsor, Urban E-Recycling. For your no-charge data destruction pickup, you can check out urbanerecycling.com. And thank you to WeBeam TV. For more information on potentially having your own show or any video work, contact webeamtv.com. Thank you so much to our Edge Platinum partners. Edge Total Access begins with our annual partnerships. And over the last 7 to 8 years, it's really how the Edge community has grown through our annual partnerships. There are multiple benefits to that. One of those is being a guest here and getting your own 56-minute interview, but also being a contributing writer for the magazine, guest sponsorship opportunities. There's many ways to get involved and to get connected. And at Edge, our number one goal is to connect the community to the humanity, really the heart and soul of your business. And that's what we do, and through multiple platforms, and Getting the Edge being one of them. So definitely want to thank All Trust Insurance, Edge Platinum Partner, Pilot Bank, USF Muma College of Business, as well as Visit Tampa Bay. Thanks so much. We wouldn't be here without you. Check out edgemediahub.com for more information. You can check out all of the partnership benefits. For a limited time, they are 50% off. So get on there. Don't waste any more time and get connected. There is a reason we're still here after all these years. And enjoying every minute and the connections, and very happy that about 80% of our partners are still with us today, that were with us from day one. So I'm honored. Thank you for the opportunity. It's an exciting time in the Edge world. It's always exciting, but especially right now because we have our second annual celebration of women currently in production. Ad space and issue sponsorships are available for that. Check out edgemediahub.com for more information on that. I'm so excited. These women are just phenomenal. And you can check out Edge online for the complete list of Women 2021 honorees. But I've had just so much joy lately interviewing these amazing women and them sharing their story. And wow, it's definitely touched me, and I know it will you as well. So again, for more information, check out the website, edgemediahub.com. You can email us at info@edgemediahub.com, or you can call 813-448-2874 is for the Edge office. So today is a special show, unlike any other. I'm waiting for that confetti to drop out of the ceiling, maybe no. I have a special guest here today, and she is a member of Edge. She is an entrepreneur and has her own business now, but we actually started out together in the real estate world, what seems like a lifetime ago. So I'm very happy to introduce my former real estate business partner, Vivian Fleming-Alvarez. Hi.
Hey, girl.
I'm so happy. Hey, girl.
I'm so happy to be here, so proud of you. And it feels like we're starting our real estate business over again, because we had glass tables. I don't know if you remember that in our office. So.
I remember shopping for furniture, and wow. You were always the very organized one, the detailed, and Vivian, you worked for the post office for many years, so that I always say that years. It's an advantage to have that corporate background. But it's great because you were so the Excel spreadsheets, and you kept us on track, and it was. But I think it also showed me how that balance is so needed sometimes, and we brought out the best in each other, I think.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did. And I remember taking in the fact that you were very spontaneous, you were very personable, and very, you were my yin and yang, we were yin and yang together. So I really enjoyed that, and I think it brought the best out of both our businesses.
And I'm always the nice one.
I was always the direct one.
Yeah, but that was great too, because we were able, not that we ever did, I think, anything deliberately, but I don't know, it provided a balance too, but yeah, I was like, oh,
the nice one.
Oh,
really? Okay, I was nice too sometimes. No, I was always nice. I was just direct.
Vivian doesn't play, right? So, and actually, I could take some tips, from you, because
my reputation precedes me.
Yes, absolutely. But it's good to, you play, but you're very.
I work hard and I play hard, and then it's so funny because coming here, someone texted me and asked me, "Hey, can I have a hand in my headshot?" And my answer was no, period. And she responded back saying, "I love how blunt you are."
Yeah.
It was like,
there's no communication around it, right? There's no small talk around it. You're just going to answer the question,
right?
Just to the point, right? Yeah.
Because if you start talking more about it, you might muddy the water, and then the answer is not clear and concise. So the answer was no.
Yeah, this is true. Just get to the point.
It's called a headshot for a reason, not a handshot.
There you go. And that is one of the points of your life, and I think just such a great example from all different guests that we have on, is just the different chapters of our life. And we talked about post office, and I want to talk about even before that, but then obviously the real estate, and then you'd always had this acting bug, which
you didn't know that.
Even
you
remember.
Didn't know.
I didn't know.
I never spoke of it. When we were together probably about 10 years.
Yeah, and in the same office every day, right? I knew everything else, I think.
And I didn't know you had this side of you as well. So,
yeah.
I think what happens is things are flushed out. You get
earlier on, too.
Earlier on, you get more confident. You get settled. Things get demystified.
Right.
And so you become more of a risk taker. Kids get older, and you haven't broken them. So you go, why not?
You're doing something right.
Yes.
Right.
So I did the Tampa International Post Office for 16 years. Left there, and then I started doing real estate for 5. I think
Is that all?
I only did it for 5 because 2008, when the market crashed, my ex-husband was saying, you're bringing a lot of the stuff home, and I just really couldn't leave it at the listing appointment or the closing table. I couldn't leave it. People were struggling. And so he said, maybe you need to take a break. And so I took a break. And around that time, my youngest was getting older and taller. And I said, when he goes to college, it's not going to be a good look if I'm stalking this child in college.
Right.
It won't be a good look for him or me.
Right.
So I need to find a hobby before he leaves. And because I decided I wasn't going to go back to real estate after that. And I went back to a love I started at 28. And I found an acting coach here and started attending that. And it was so funny because no one knew. And everyone forgot about me taking acting class at 28 or so because it was only a month. I took it for a month, and then I found out I was pregnant with Christian.
Oh, wow.
And I went into mommy mode, don't regret it at all. And went into mommy mode. I remember the teacher was saying, you can take your headshots now before you get your baby weight on. And then when you have your baby, you can. I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm going to be a mother. She was like, no, I understand. But I just went into mommy mode, and I don't regret it. And so I started it at 45. People always say, why you tell your age? Because I want people to know that it's never too late.
Right.
A lot of people think it's late. It's never too late to do your dream.
Right. And I think it's still a dream for a reason. And if it's still something in your mind that's pushing you, then the last thing you want at the end of the day is regrets, right?
Absolutely.
Just go for it. And dabble in it some. You don't have to jump in fully, maybe just.
Yeah, because at first I said it was a hobby, and now it's no longer a hobby. You know, one of the things that I remember Denzel Washington saying, I saw a clip in him saying that if you have a dream and you put goals behind it, then you can realize that dream. But if you don't put goals behind it, then it's still just a dream. And it was the same thing with real estate. You know, we had goals.
Yeah.
And I remember my first year in real estate, I was $1 million producer. And we got an award when they took us to the award ceremony, and they called my name, and I was like, for what? He said, you don't know how much you sold? And I was like, no. He said, you need to set goals. And so I took that along with the Postal Service and then applied it to acting.
Oh, it's just crazy. Like, we talk about this every show, how you just take a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Your life lessons are applied to your work lessons.
And then you almost kind of realize why you had those lessons to begin with, because if you didn't have that knowledge or information that you could, you know, like, each step leads us somewhere else.
Yes.
Right. And it's and like we just said, who would have thought we'd end up in these other worlds of, but what's interesting, going to college and being a young mother at the time, I was the same age as the other kids, but I had the baby and lived off campus. But, you know, I also worked. I bartended through college. So, you know, I remember writing papers the night before they were due. And I'd be up all night and I would write, and I never worried about it. I knew I would do it. And then I remember a couple times turning them in and the professor saying, oh my God, this is so good. Have you ever considered a career in journalism? And I said, thank you. I walked out of the room and I thought to myself, you idiot, I just wrote that last night, right? Like, how good can it be? But, you know, maybe there was, obviously, here we are, half my life later, you know, and just like you know, you had so you just never know.
Yeah, you never know. And when I first started, I remember everyone saying, have an opinion. Everyone has an opinion about what you're doing, but the problem is their opinion doesn't matter, you know, because this is what I want to do with my time, my knowledge, my skills. And it was really instrumental to me because at first, I really didn't know that my experience in the Postal Service and my experience in the real estate was actually helping me in the acting. And real estate helped with, the post office helped with the real estate because it gave me structure. And
it's not until you can really reflect backwards that you can see that, because you don't know it at the time. You're just making decisions and going from one to another. But it's, you know, we don't want to spend too much time in the rearview mirror, but sometimes it is nice to just look at where you've gone. And again, if you have the goals, then you're able to distinguish what you're able to do and what you weren't, and you know, keep going. But it's great to keep making goals, you know, and just keep making, you know, creating situations to be better people.
Reinventing yourself. Right. You know, I think I heard someone say, you know, a lot of people are doing pivots. You know, they were doing this before COVID, now they're doing this, or they're also doing this. So it's also giving us the opportunity to redefine ourselves, to recreate situations. Not necessarily giving up anything, because I don't give up my real estate knowledge is going to be with me always. I still have people today calling me because my whole goal with real estate too was my target audience were first-time home buyers because I wanted to demystify that buying a home, it shouldn't be fearful. Acting should not be fearful. So that's kind of like my lane.
It is scary for me. It's it is crazy that I am as shy as I am. I could if we walked into this room right now and they were doing some type of screen thing and like everybody took a turn, I think I might just be sick.
As far as acting?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I could do it. Now, I can come in and sit here. Of course, this took time, too, to be able to do this. This is definitely not my comfort zone at all. And I'm all about overcoming that.
But you would, because you would overcome it. You would set goals.
Of course.
And you would work hard, because you're not afraid of working hard. So it's like anything else. You would work hard.
But it's terrifying.
It is a natural. Well, it is a natural to stand on a mark and create a slice of life for maybe 2, 3, 5 people.
You should have brought a script for us to read or something. That'd have been fun.
Next time.
Okay. All right. I mean, you know, obviously, I think we all think about acting, and it looks like a glamorous life, right? And the movie stars and all the people you get to meet.
Glamorous?
So, but what has that experience? And because you, let's talk about some of the different features you've been in. There's
we'll do
Army Wives. That was one of the
Army Wives was my first one.
That was Lifetime on Lifetime, right? Because I remember, oh goodness, that was
2010. Because
yes.
I remember it because it was my first booking, and I booked Mrs. Martinez.
You were on there for a while too, weren't you?
No. It was just a
okay.
one episode.
Okay,
one episode.
I thought you went and did them periodically, or that character went back.
No, not that character. One you're probably thinking of is Bloodline.
Okay.
That was Mrs. Ortiz.
I was going to say, I remember that one.
So I have Martinez, Ortiz. I've had a Miss Alvarez or Officer Alvarez, but Army Wives was the first. I did Bloodline. I did a few episodes of Bloodline. I did a show called Greenleaf, Queen Sugar, Being Mary Jane, and this is off the top of my head. Can't remember them all. Films, feature films. I was in 12 Years a Slave. I'm currently working on a series for ABC called The Women of the Movement. And I'm really, really, really humbled and honored to play and be a part of that production. It is currently filming in Mississippi.
So we're able to talk about that now.
We're able to talk about it. I'm not going to go into the show, but the character I play is Elizabeth Lizzie Wright. She is Emmett Till. The show is about Mamie Till Mobley, who is Emmett Till's mother. And the story is around their tragic experience in Mississippi when Emmett was kidnapped. And
thank you for enlightening me on that story. Once we talked, it came back. To, of course I've heard it over the years, but it is an honor. I would imagine to be a part of.
It's honor, it's humbling, it's sad, it's traumatic.
To kind of relive that moment, I can't. And then obviously as acting, I mean you're in it.
See.
Right?
Yes. And you're in it, but you're never experiencing what Lizzie or Emmett and Mamie experienced. And so, but to be able to give that light to that story, to bring it to its fruition, because a lot of people don't realize that Emmett's story was, and the situation, a horrific situation, was the catalyst to the civil rights movement.
I've been talking quite a bit about our second annual celebration of women, and these women, they just blow me away, and I think the fact that they fought for things and believed in things when it really wasn't appropriate for women to do so.
Yes.
And especially because, she graduated high school in 1960, so your options were very limited. She ended up going into education, but we start talking about, she went, and I forget the name of the university, but it was in Alabama. She graduated from college in 1964, but she Martin Luther King and John Lewis had all visited the campus. But can you imagine? And I talked to her a little bit about being in college, and going through that, being an African American woman, in Alabama, which. I mean, anyway.
My mother told me, my mother was in college in '64 in Tallahassee, FAMU, and she was going to a protest. And when she got there, one of the guys saw her, a friend of hers saw her and said, "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here," whatever the case may be. And he basically, she said, grabbed her by the hand and ran her all the way home, back to her dorm. And soon after they left, it was raided with dogs, fire hose, and all that kind of stuff. So my dad and my stepfather were very, very instrumental in the civil rights movement. In fact, there's a historical marker down here in downtown Tampa with both their names on it. My dad's name is Hildreth H. Fleming, and right underneath my dad's name is my stepfather's name, John Nelson Billups. So
wow.
Yeah, so it's
I didn't remember knowing this, but when she graduated high school in Tampa in 1960, schools were still segregated. And I guess that's probably, people know that. I mean, you just don't think about it. I mean, I have mixed children, so you think of my whole family, we're all a mixed culture. I just had no idea. I never thought about it.
I posted a picture of a childhood friend sent a picture from first grade. And I don't mind telling my age. I was born in 1964. And so this picture was when I was in first grade, so 1970. And
was that one of the first, because she said it, because I said, well, when did they combine schools? And I want to say, well, like 1974, 72. It was right around there.
You know, it was a little earlier than that, but I see it starting, and in my first class, I was the only one. And I was like, and then it dawned on me. I looked at it and I was like, and I'm right middle center with my little fair complexion. And the teacher, they had two teachers in the classroom. There was a Caucasian teacher, and there was an African-American teacher. And the African-American teacher was my cousin, you know, because I would go home with her after school for daycare.
Yeah, and you were Alvarez by marriage.
By marriage.
Right, you play Ortiz and Mrs. Martinez.
And
or
Torres.
Yes, right?
But yes, and so.
Because you have that look.
And it was so funny because when I first started in acting, at one point I wanted to be ambiguous because I didn't want to be, I want to go wherever they wanted me to go, right? So I wanted them to look at me and say, okay, yeah, we can see her. But then I found that didn't play very well. So when Mrs. Martinez's role came up and they were still looking for her, and they asked me to audition, I was using my maiden name as my stage name, so I was just going by Vivian Fleming. And then all of a sudden I had a little light bulb come up, and we have to do what's called a slate at the beginning of your audition, which you say your name, where you're located, and your height. And so all of a sudden I went, hi, my name is Vivian Fleming-Alvarez. And then that's when I became hyphenated in my stage name.
I see.
So that way, and when I actually booked Elizabeth Lizzie Wright, I told my agent, I said, please make sure they know that Alvarez name is
married
name.
Do you speak Spanish?
¿Tú hablas español? Me?
Yeah.
No. Un poquito muy mal. And I've had a casting director call me and say, so Vivian, how much of that Alvarez? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. And he was like, ¿Tú hablas español? I said, un poquito muy mal, pero intento. And he said, okay, got it. And I was like, but it was so funny. I just basically said, I speak it very badly, and I speak, but I try.
Gotcha.
I should work on that. I should, because in real estate, I used to get so many phone calls.
I remember taking a Spanish class at USF at night when we were in real estate because, yes, there was a need for it. But it was for me, it was difficult to pick up. I think it's kind of easy. I didn't put enough into it.
I was fluent in high school and a little bit in college because I had a group of friends and they refused to speak English around me, which was great. And my sister's fluent. I've lost it, but it was better back when I was younger. And my name is so confusing because my name is Vivian, which is considered Latina because all the Latina girls call me Viviana. And my middle name is Celeste or Celeste. And then I have Alvarez, so it's Vivian Celeste Alvarez. And they go, no?
Yeah, that is confusing, right?
And you remember, I like to salsa dance, too.
Yes, you do.
I am a pretty decent salsa dancer, so I just throw confusion all the way out there. You know, they look at me and they go, are you Dominican? Are you Puerto Rican? No.
You know, yes, I would love to dance, too. Like that. I say this all the time. It's almost funny. Like, get me out of the house, right? Get me away from the laptop. Pull me away. And let's go dance. I can't wait until we can do that again. You know, until I could use a night out. For sure. We had a bunch of fun ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Yeah. Oh, and even I remember we had the Ivoronese event to celebrate that launch. You were there. That was right before you moved to LA.
And I took you out salsa dancing after that too.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Well, you were
if
watching.
You want to call it, right? Yeah. Yeah,
yes.
I think I might have watched.
Yeah, you did. Baby steps though. We'll get you to the dance floor next.
Oh, I would. I think, you know, it's hard to. I'm always so uptight and just not uptight because I'm personable and I don't mean it that way, but and I don't. Prudish comes to word. I don't mean that either, but conservative kind of comes to mind. I don't know, but I'm.
No, I think
I'd have to be intoxicated to get on a dance floor and just go at it.
The liquid courage, huh?
Right.
Okay.
You know, what's funny is, and again, I do have shows and I host events and do things, but it's one-on-one. It's different. Being in front of people doing anything, even the events are scary for me because you got all these people, especially if you have to get up and speak. Like, I have to have a few drinks. In fact, I'm usually like, okay, startup coming, you know, so that I can.
Yeah, it's all fear, you know, fear, but you don't want the fear to block your blessings.
Everything that is worth
you
this
got to go
journey.
past.
And then I think, and it's just like anything. Of course, I think we pick what we want to tackle. We pick our battles, not necessarily battles, but what we want to pursue and overcome. But yes, it's an adrenaline rush, and once you start, you don't want to be. You don't want anything to hold you back.
Yes.
So you'll overcome them. But so tell me about the experience of getting into it. And Twilight is one of Jada and I's.
I forgot about Twilight.
My daughter, Jada. Twilight's one of our favorites. And I know you didn't make it in, but it doesn't matter. Even having that experience, you were in the fight scene. And which one? Breaking
Dawn Part 2, the last one.
Can you imagine being in the middle of the Twilight saga, Breaking Dawn, with Bella and Edward, right?
Jacob. Yeah, they were all there.
And the wolves, and they were actually They probably weren't there, right? They
CGI.
put them in later. But wow, just what an experience.
And I actually didn't make it in. I did make it in. It was my first feature film, but it was before I was SAG, so I was able to do it as a featured, what they call a feature background actor. And I was fitted for the contacts, because they don't fit all the extras with the contacts. So I was fitted with the contacts. So of course I was wearing the red contacts, which means that I drank human blood.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You've got to be a vampire. If Jada knew that, she would just. We love Vampire Diaries and those shows too. And it started with Twilight, I think, and then she's 20, so she's kind of grown up with some of these shows. But the other night she was joking, and even though we've seen Twilight or Vampire Diaries 6 times, that's the whole season, not the whole thing, but she joked the other day, and she goes, "Mom, are you a vampire?" She's just waiting for me to say yes, so that I can say yes, you are. I said, "Aren't there ways to become one?" Anyway, we were just joking back and forth, but yeah,
that was a very nice.
She knew you got to play one.
Yes, and it was very nice. It was very fun, and you mentioned at the top that glamorous. It's not glamorous when we're doing the work, because for one, you're generally by yourself. You're isolated. You might not know anybody on the set, and then you get to meet people, but. Twilight was in Baton Rouge. We were in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it was 28 degrees, and it was an outdoor tent city. We were cold most of the time.
Miserable, probably.
We were cold most of the time, and so if we were huddled, it was because we were trying to all get some body heat. And we were in an arena, and what it looked like snow was actually fine shredded paper. So now we're wearing these contacts, and you can just look out and see the dust in the air of the fine paper, and you have the contacts. So fortunately, they had an amazing crew of contact for technicians, and so after every take, we would just have to throw our heads back and get eye drops in.
Oh wow!
So it was awesome.
Do you get to keep the contacts?
No.
Are they going to reuse them? You might as well give them to you, right?
And it's so funny because now, what is that? 10 years later from shooting, I get to Mississippi for Women of the Movement, and we got on masks, and so all we can see are our eyes. And I'm at the elevator going up to my room, and I looked over my shoulder, and I looked back, I looked again, and she goes, "Vivian?" And I go, "Denise?" She is the owner of the company that did the contacts for Twilight. And so she's working on Women in Movement. So we hadn't seen each other for 11 years, but we still remembered each other's name, and it was just such a...
It's probably great to make those contacts and then see those familiar faces. And I imagine that happens. It's interesting as you watch shows, Castle was one that I watched from start to finish on Fandango at one point. And then Cold Case. I love the old Cold Case shows. Yeah. But anyway, it's interesting as you watch, you'll see the same actors on a lot of things. That was even with, what's her name, the princess, or former, but she was even in a couple Castle episodes. That, the
prince, Meghan Markle?
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I can't even think of her name.
Duchess.
Yes, yes. But it's interesting. You see so many people playing, different characters, but across
I know.
They're like recycled a lot, like on different shows. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's good and sometimes it's bad, I guess.
No, I personally think it's good. Hello, it keeps me employed.
Oh.
So yes, it's good.
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like there was a gentleman who said something about my character on Greenleaf. She was a damaged woman, and she was looking for love in a person that wasn't very, very kind or moral. Basically, he was a pedophile.
Oh.
Right? And she's looking for love, and this guy made a comment and said, Ms. Alvarez, you played that role really well. You must have had some experience. And I'm just like, no, I haven't had any experience with that. It's called acting.
Right?
It's called acting.
So, yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Well,
But you get to explore those things and those stories and those experiences and create them to depict the story. You know, and it was so funny. Even my girlfriend told me that her mother was like, I need to talk to Vivian. She shouldn't. And she said, Mom, you do know she's acting, right? That she's not in a relationship with this man. I was just like,
wow.
Okay, you're proud that someone got so caught up in the story, but you're like, no. I'm not judging my character, but that's not my experience. It's called, you know, being able to find the tools, use the tools that you have in your process to create a slice of life.
Well, and it's, I guess, from another vantage point from that is being able to see the versatility. Is that a word? Versatility. Yeah,
yes.
versatility in regards to these actors. You know, and seeing them portray.
And how they morph, how we morph.
Well, yeah, it really shows someone's skills of being able to morph. Like, that's a good word, yeah.
And that's one of the things that I teach at VFA is, and what was taught to me is to concentrate on what my first instructor called BIC, your business, your instrument, and your craft. And so our business is what we have to do to stay employed, all the way from top to taxes, right? And then you're talking about your instrument. What do you have to do with your physical body and your voice, your appearance to create your character? And then how you, in your craft, how do you use your process to facilitate creating that storyline that you're working on?
Right.
So.
And so you just recently, in the last year, right? Well, so you ended up.
It's not a year yet, but yes.
After we went, after the Ivaroni's party, then you left and moved to LA you were gone a year, I think, or
I was
a little
going
longer.
19 months.
Okay.
19 months. Then COVID.
Yeah.
So
it was such a great experience for you too, and your boys were at an age that they're grown and actually graduated college and starting their own lives. And it was actually your youngest went with you.
Yeah, Darren went to, when he graduated from college, he went to UCF, go Knights, and both he and Christian went to UCF. But when Darren finished college, he went to Japan. And so I went over there with him for 30 days to help him get settled, but he moved to Japan for 17 months to teach English. And because he's always been fascinated with the culture. His degree is in international business, emphasis on Japanese culture. So he went over there. He speaks fluent Japanese. And when we went there, we did a layover in LA, and my manager took us out to dinner. She fell in love with Darren. And I was like, and then she says, do you have to go to Japan? I could put you to work here. And I said, if you put this boy to work, I've been trying to get my children into this industry since they were 15 years old, and they've said no. And Darren took it in great strides, and he said, I am under contract, I have to go to Japan. She says, well, when you come back, come to LA with your mom. And I didn't move to LA because I'm a Florida girl. Love Tampa.
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised,
right.
Never left. So
what high school did you go to?
King High School. Go Lions.
You're so funny.
King High School, and we went to Japan, got him settled. I came back. I had some personal stuff to take care of before I moved, and I moved in when he got back in April of 2019. We both moved in June. Experienced our first earthquake on July 4th.
And the fires.
2019 fires.
Oh my goodness.
And
a lot that happened like that after you.
I was still booking I moved all the way to LA, but I was still booking in the Southeast. So I was still flying back over here to go to New Orleans, to Atlanta, because I was still working there. Florida, the only job I've only had in Florida because we don't have the tax incentives like the other states to do, so production does not come to our state, and hopefully we can change that sometime soon.
We had Tyler Mack, the film commission for Tampa Bay.
Hopefully we can change that soon, because I would love to walk out of my front door and work at home instead of having to walk out my front door and get on a plane and travel to another state.
So you then moved back, and you have a studio in your home.
I do.
You did, and you did that years ago.
I've had a studio in my home pretty much since I started, and that's where I take my auditions.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize how it worked until we would talk, and you kind of tell me what you were doing. And
it was a lot of it was because of that organization that we talked about, because some people might call it controlling. I don't call it that. I like to be in the process of my audition from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So
that's perfecting your craft, right?
Yeah, and being able to work on it and being able to present it the way I want to present it from top to bottom. So I started a studio. I have the cameras, the lights, the sound, and what have you, and the editing equipment on my computer. So we're able to do that, and I would do that for other actors as well.
Well, so you just recently, in the last year, not a year yet, VFA, Vivian Fleming-Alvarez, Acting and Performance Studio. So that's really, congratulations again, because I know it's exciting. It's like another child, right?
It is.
Right? That's something else we birthed.
Oh, yes.
But it's great to see, we talk about that all the time on the show too, just seeing things come to life.
I know, and it's so weird because people have told me that it's a long title, and I understand that it is. The only reason that I have it is that way because I'm also a dancer. We talked about salsa, but I cheered for the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for 4 years. And so,
did you do that right after school, or?
I was 17 when I made the squad. I had to be 18 by September 1st. I'm a Leo, so my birthday's in August. So before I had even graduated from high school, I made the squad. Birthday's in August. We started the season in the fall, and cheered from '82 to '86. And
so what was that time like?
Oh, it was amazing. You know, I was in the icicle orange.
Do they even still have cheerleaders anymore?
Yeah, they do. They're called cheerleaders, the Buccaneer cheerleaders. Back in my day, we were called Swash-BUC-Lers.
That's right. Okay. And forgive me, I work all the time. I have no life, personally. So I'm always, but I haven't. Anyway.
Yeah. So the performance part is the dance part.
Right.
Because when I went out to LA, I rekindled my dancing. I found a beautiful studio, Millennium, which I didn't even know I was dancing at the Millennium studio. And one of my girlfriends said, "Are you at Millennium?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Vivian, that's the studio we watch all the time on the YouTube channel." And I was like, "Girl, I didn't even pay attention." I was just so happy to have found a dance group. And I actually did hip hop. I was like, I hadn't done hip hop, I don't think ever. So really enjoyed it. So I reconnected, met with choreographers who travel the world to teach. And I said, if I open my own brick and mortar building, that I want to have the acting and I want to have a place for choreographers. We're famous choreographers to come and dance and do workshop and things of that nature. So I wanted to be something and that's what VFA is. It's basically a collective of disciplines of people who want to be in the performance or acting industry.
And one thing, especially with COVID, after everything we've gone through, it's really acceptable not to be in person all the time. So it really opened the doors to being able to doing things virtually and creating a business model on that. So
and that's what's really good
about one of the positives.
One of the positives, because the reason I came back from LA is because my team said to me, "You're not going to be in an auditioning room for a long time, not till probably 2022." Wow. So we're getting used to. In fact, I have a call back on Monday. Guess what it is? It's on virtual. It's on Zoom.
Right.
And so it shoots in Louisiana, but I will be doing my callback virtually on Monday.
Wow.
I booked the current ABC series virtually. And so what I'm doing right now is teaching and coaching people in how to create a slice of life, not only just on a self-tape, but in the virtual room. So
I would think too, it would be helpful, anybody that might have even had an interest in acting, or maybe even if you don't, for business owners and community leaders and anybody up speaking, people join different speaking and doing things for different reasons. It'd be great to learn kind of some tips on how to get up and present. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously not from you don't want to lie and be deceitful, obviously, but still, there's a lot of takeaway in that, I'm sure. You should work with me, do tips or something.
Anytime. You're welcome to come to class. But you know what are the things I did too? Just so I wanted to be well-rounded. I did Toastmasters for a while.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot on the show. Mm-hmm. And people seem to really grow with it. Yeah. I haven't even thought about it because, again, I'm great one-on-one and I'm comfortable. But ultimately, I would like to write books and potentially speak and be impactful, I hope, to young people. So I need to get over my,
you can come to the studio and I'll put you on the mark.
On the mark.
Hit your mark.
Even John, my video producer, when we were originally working on some things and trying to do some intros, you put a camera in front of me and I just would freeze and I stutter and stumble, and that's why I just wing it. I mean, not wing it in a sense, but I'm just myself. And then when you're yourself, you don't think about it. Right.
And there's an art to ignoring the camera until you want to look in it.
Okay, so let's give us a stare.
A stare?
Yeah, a sexy,
oh Lord,
diva,
really?
Yeah, so yeah, it is pretty good. Wow.
You have to think of something. That camera is no longer a camera. That camera is the man I love.
That, okay.
Let me see you do it. Oh, that's your camera.
I don't like to play. I just like to ask
Kelly,
questions.
Come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can take the glasses off and just do it. Come on. Oh my God. John, we need some liquid courage in here.
Yeah, I joked with Viv that I was going to bring alcohol for us on the show, but I was afraid I might be sleeping on the table or even wackier than normal, lacking some sleep lately. No, what's so funny is I guess I've grown to the point where, yes, you care about what people think because you have a brand and obviously something you're trying to protect and nurture. But at the same time, I'm all about being goofy, or I wouldn't laugh on myself in stuff here, but it's still under my control a little bit. I don't know. I'm not great on demand.
Well, it's so funny because one of the things that I learned, and I'm learning and I'm still working on, is language. We language ourselves out of things.
We limit ourselves.
Yes. So last year was a year of yeses. I kind of added this year to say yeses. And then also I'm trying to limit or eliminate the word I can't. I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm trying to limit that. Oh, I have to.
Right.
If you go, I have to go do this, it sounds like an obligation. It sounds like a burden. So I'm going to. I'm going to go do this. I will be doing that. So I didn't realize how
strong that,
how powerful it is.
It pulls you, for sure. I've learned that, and we talk about that a lot, just with your mindset and the context, the lens that you look through. Jonathan Clark, who is an executive leader, Coriolis Consulting Group, one of our Edge partners, brilliant in the mind. It's interesting just how he talks, and it really is. Again, I talk a lot, but I've learned to listen, and I try to apply different techniques and tips people give you. But I had no idea that because I think we almost hold ourselves back.
Yeah.
We don't realize. And that, some of the tips and different things they give you is almost even silly. Thinking about things.
Then you realize how hard it is. Yeah. It sounds silly, but it's hard to implement it when you go, oh my goodness, this is really ingrained in me. one of the slogan that I have for VFA is dedicated to developing meta performers. And people go, what are meta performers? Meta performers are that step above the person who wants to be the best. Well, you want to be the best, but what about discovering what you're capable of? That's infinitely more powerful than being the best, because
it's not
the best,
capping you.
Exactly.
Right.
And so,
it's more limitless.
There's some times where, like in improv, when I took my first improv class, I remember telling the teacher, no, I'm just going to watch. He's like, there's no watching in this class. It's all participation. And all of a sudden, I was just like, oh, no. So,
but that's what pushes you out.
Yeah, but then he said, and then he recognized, and then he made me recognize that I had a fear of failure, because everything I went in was so structured. The post office, the real estate was so structured. I win. And all of a sudden, now I got to take my performing from dancing, and I have to add words to it, or I have to add maybe something improv. I have to be controlled, but not controlled, but free. And so that was hard. So it also spilled on into that failing forward. Because you're failing doesn't mean you're failing and falling backwards. You're failing forward because you're making yourself bigger, you're making yourself more
we talk about that all the time, even the articles in the Tribute issue. And if you haven't read the Tribute issue, please, the digital copies are there, available and free. You can read them, and you can subscribe to the magazine and receive your printed copy delivered to your home or office. But every one of these stories is amazing, and they all reference a time in their life or in the business where the business, or they almost had to step back in order to move forward. And we all go through that. And even it's interesting, I think sometimes I have my own experiences of things, but it's not until somebody else says something, and it may not even be the same thing, and then I realize, oh, that's the same thing I'm dealing with, but it's different. And then it just kind of helps you see solutions or how to navigate, forward. But that whole, what you're just talking about, the context in which we look through things, it changes everything. I think what's interesting is, too, we can sit here and have a conversation, right? But your reality is not my reality. What's going on in your head is not going on in my head. We both have different upbringings. We were, different. Well, I wasn't born in Tampa, but I'm just saying, there's just so many things that make us different. And I think people are too quick sometimes to judge other people by. I mean, it's just.
That's our culture right now, and it's unfortunate. We see it on the social media platform, how people are so quick to lash out when they watch a video. From body shaming to maybe
one of the I guess good and bad with everything, right? One of the downsides too.
I remember the first time I was on Being Mary Jane, and there was a picture of me, and I had on this beautiful gold dress, and someone started talking about my body, and it wasn't complimentary, right? And I was just like, whoa, alrighty then. Okay, if I wasn't comfortable in myself, because my upbringing made me comfortable in that, so if I wasn't comfortable in that, and I just wonder how some of the stars handle it when it's just so
you have
constant.
to not take it personally somehow, but I don't know how you do that, but
yeah, it's a muscle that we haven't developed yet.
Yeah, I try just because in business, as a business owner, even in real estate.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, some of the people that you work with, back especially when you don't have the luxury of choosing who you work with, you're just trying to build your business. Oh my goodness. I mean, but that's one of the reasons I started really studying astrology signs and trying to understand why people act the way they do. And if you kind of know a little bit how they're going to act before they act that way, you're almost prepared.
So you were basically asking them where their birthday was?
Everybody. I do on the
show.
You
didn't share that with me. You should have told me then. I think often people say things to us or things happen and we take it personal, like we've done something or something's wrong or I've really offended this person. And what that person is going through has nothing to do with you, them being, but it is interesting, and it's not true for every sign, but if you are born close to when that cusp changes, there is quite a bit of validity, I guess, to that. And again, you can forecast. So if somebody acts a certain way, you're already expecting it. Right.
Right. And you don't take things personal.
Right. And there was a lot of things
Right.
in real estate that, to me, you had to be very diligent and you had to pay attention because especially with women and you're going in and showing homes by yourself.
Yeah.
I remember one time there was a guy in the hair back of my neck stood up and I said no.
Yeah, I remember.
And people were like, what do you mean no? I was like, no, I'm not showing the house. And my mom taught me that early on.
Because that was back before, do we even have cell phones then? When did the cell phone? I guess we did.
Girl,
cell phone.
I'm not that old.
All right. Okay, so we had cell phones.
Yeah, we had cell
like
phones.
a lifetime ago.
They were bigger, but they were, yeah. Mm-hmm. But my mom taught me a long time ago that how to say no. Mm-hmm. She said, there's so many ways you can say no. You can say, no, I'm not interested.
Right.
Catch me another time. Get back to me. Hell to the gnaw.
Yeah.
So it's so many ways that we have to honor ourselves. And a no doesn't have to be harsh.
And it was before
it's just
GPS because I did not have a GPS in my car because we didn't have them on our phones. I remember going to the G-Tar and getting maps. I don't even think we had. Okay, or maybe I just couldn't afford them. I don't know, but I remember studying maps of how to get people around and then even driving the night before to go follow the paths because otherwise.
No, I think you were in real estate longer than I was and you were
14,
established.
15 years,
and you were established before I got in. So I can see you doing
maps. Okay. So by the time you came in,
yes.
I see. Okay,
yes.
so there were. Okay.
Technology.
I started in the 90s. Yeah, we didn't have, we had just gotten cell phones. I don't even think we had cell phones. 96, 90, whatever that was, yeah. So, okay. So I'm not crazy. I do remember things right, kind of. So, but that's what's interesting too. I love sharing stories or memories with people because you get to pick up on different things that I didn't remember or you remembered. And you can. I still remember our office in Carrollwood. We were with ERA Polo at the time. And okay, quick story. I'm gonna go back. So our next issue is out in the fall.
Okay.
And late August, September-ish, and it's a real estate issue. And I'm excited because this is an opportunity to really talk about and showcase and highlight. Just some of the people, that I'd looked up to in my career. And obviously it's not, it's close to home because it's like part of my past. So I'm excited about this one. And so like all of them, I'm looking at 10, real estate gurus, not just residential, but, you're talking title people and, all the commercial real estate development and just all the different players in it. But I
can't wait to see it, if I see any old faces.
And because I am so thankful for all the opportunities we're given. And Mario Polo, I would love to include him. To me, it would be an opportunity to highlight I feel that was, and that's really, the magazine is about highlighting amazing people, but thankfully, kind of luckily, it's really cool that I get to highlight and kind of pick people, and have really the say so in it, and because I get to say thank you. I get to say thank you, and because he did, he
took care of us.
Mario Polo was our real estate broker for ERA Polo Group, and
he and Marie.
Yeah, he just taught me a lot, and I'm very thankful for that experience. And he went through a tough time, and through the real estate, demise, and it's unfortunate, but he was a big player for years, way before I even came into the world.
One of the best advice he gave me was, and it was not that I was doing this, but it was being done to me. And he says, don't worry about it. He says, if you have time to badmouth another agent, you're not busy enough.
Right. Yeah.
And I take that everywhere. I don't, there's no reason to people, when I started to think about opening VFA, but they say, so-and-so's teaching in Orlando, so-and-so's teaching in St. Pete, so-and-so's teaching in Clearwater. And I would go, yeah.
Right,
I don't worry about other people because, there's enough for everybody. Right. And that's people who are dealing with lack.
Yeah, and really, we all have something special, like in a niche that we provide. We all have different techniques, and we're not all, for everybody.
But if you work from a place of abundance,
Absolutely.
You're not worried about other people and their business. You want to wish them well
100%.
and go and do your job. Right. And that's the same thing that I do in acting. I don't worry about what actor is auditioning for what role, the same role I'm auditioning. Right. It's not about them because what's meant for you is for you, and what's meant for me is for me.
That's right. And you'll get there. We get there when you get there. Like you will figure that out at some point. We're shortly going to run out of time. When is this? So when's the new show? Tell me the name of it again. I wrote it
Women
down.
of the Movement.
Yes.
Women of the Movement. The season finale is going to be shot in April or sometime. They reached out this Monday because I'm in episode 1, 2, 3, and episode 6. The finale.
That's great.
Yeah, so I go back to do the finale anytime between March 24th and April 9th. And after that, I'm hoping maybe July or August of this year, but it will be released this year.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Congratulations, Viv.
Thank you.
You know, I think it's wonderful to see us, just progress and excel and just, see happy.
Doing what we love.
Yeah, and yes. It's interesting, and I'm just thankful that you're still here, and we've come all these years around, and and it's like she walked in, and I'm like, you smell so good. You smell like. I love when people have that smell, right? It's a very good smell, but I love that cozy, familiar scent when you come around someone that you're close to, and it's just. And I think perhaps my parents are gone. Maybe that's why I'm more sentimental that way. I don't know that I have limited family other than the kids. But
that was awesome when you said you smell the same.
It's comforting, and I think for me to not because I don't have the family all around that it's that familiar smell in a sense. But
I want to say thank you for reaching out.
Of course.
And being patient because I was going to Mississippi when you initially asked me. Thank you for waiting for me. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here sharing your venue with you.
I thank you. And it means a lot for you to be here. I was so excited for today's show, and I'm always excited, but today was special for sure. Thank you. And I'd love to get you, I can't wait till we have events and get you out even more. So
Yay, I'll be there.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Vivian, for being here, and I'm just so thankful. Check out edgemediahub.com. You can subscribe to our magazines, subscribe to the newsletters, stay in touch for sure. We'll see you right here next week. And until next time, never stop dreaming. See you soon.